Hi everyone, welcome to a new edition of our Keptn developer meetings. As you might know, we are now also included in the CNCF calendar. We are an official CNCF Sandbox project, so that also means we're following the code of conduct of CNCF. That basically means please be nice to each other in the Keptn community and in the whole CNCF, basically. As you might have learned also from last week, we are in the process of renaming our Keptn community meeting to Keptn developer meetings, since we're really focusing on technical parts here in this meeting. We are still figuring out the best way to do it. So if you have any comments, please let us know. We have our Keptn Slack. We have our user group on Google Groups. So you can reach out to us on Slack or on the user group. Also in this meeting, let us know what you think about and what would be the best format for you. Do you want to discuss more use cases? Do you want to discuss more developer related things like issues or help in building your integrations to Keptn? Just let us know. If you are speaking about Keptn publicly, also let us know. We are happy to send you maybe a Keptn t-shirt. We still have some. I think today I don't wear it. Sometimes no, it's KubeCon this time. Maybe we have someone on the call who is wearing a Keptn t-shirt. Sometimes we have something. Oh, Johannes this time. But yeah, if you're talking about Keptn, if you're blogging about Keptn, speaking at a meetup at a conference, just let us know. That would really help us. And we're also starting a new format, which we call the Keptn user groups. And in this format, we really want to invite everyone that is working with Keptn, either by contributing to Keptn, extending Keptn, or using Keptn to share your story with the broader Keptn community. And in our first edition of this format, we will have Sumit joining from the company and organization called Intuit. And he will be talking about Keptn quality gates with Argo and Jenkins, actually their own distribution they call, I think, distro, and he will share some lessons learned, how they did it and how they integrated Keptn into their bigger project. It will be most probably on December 16th. You can sign up here. That's basically everything that we can share. That's already settled. And I want to just highlight and give a shout out to a couple of new Keptn Sandbox contributions. As you might know, the Keptn Sandbox is the first starting point when developing a new extension and integration to Keptn. We have 3 new services from the last 1 or 2 weeks. First one is a Splunk service. You can find all the details here. It's basically synchronizing data from Keptn to Splunk. The second one is a Selenium service. Here we don't see, the code has not been yet contributed back to Keptn. It's still a work in progress. It's an organization called Wipro. They are working on this, and they want to execute Selenium tests whenever Keptn is triggering the test execution. So not only JMeter tests or neoload tests or Litmus chaos tests, but in this case it will be Selenium tests. And they will be contributing the service. And then also we have a new service just created today. It's a placeholder right now. It's called the Monaco service. I believe Monaco is for monitoring as a code. I'm not yet sure, but we have Christoph here. Maybe you can share a sentence or two about this new service.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Jürgen. Yeah, so Monaco indeed stands for monitoring as code, which is basically, it's an open source project that Dynatrace has started that allows you to do configuration as code for Dynatrace. Yeah, so you can describe your configuration in a set of JSON files as a template, and then you can create instances of that template by replacing variables and things like that. Not much unlike Terraform does, and then apply that en masse to many Dynatrace environments, basically to make your configuration a bit more manageable when you're doing it at scale over multiple tenants or multiple projects. It's a way how we can follow into that GitOps methodology. And so we in our ACE team, we did a hackathon this week, and I took that upon me as a challenge to write a Monaco service for Keptn. So the idea is that you can give it a zip file with your configuration, and then as part of your Keptn deployment, when you deploy a new service, it can actually apply that configuration to a target tenant. I'm still finishing up on the documentation, and once I do that, I will upload it to the Sandbox repository.
Pretty cool. Thanks for sharing, and thanks for contributing to Keptn. I think that's so. The main idea is to basically allow scaling, since you automate the configuration part of the tenants, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you can automate that piece, and so you can actually create some consistency. If you have multiple Keptn projects, for example, right, you can actually create some sort of baseline template configuration that for each project then gets applied, right? So if you have a certain set of let's say management zones that you need inside Dynatrace, or dashboards, or application definitions that are using, you know, certain Keptn placeholders for its configuration, right? Then you can actually automatically set that up, and it's always there, always synthetic tests, for example, if you need them. Yeah. So the reason why we created that is that I think you guys probably read the State of DevOps 2020 report. And one of the key factors that came out of that was that successful teams actually provide monitoring, configuration, and alerting as a service to their team. All right. So it's just, you want some on-demand monitoring, you don't have to do anything for it. It's just part of your CI/CD pipeline, for example, that you have. And then we want to do something like that with Keptn as well.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, thanks for sharing. I'm really looking forward to test this new Monaco service.
Maybe just one note from my end. What I really like on this approach is that you can then specify on project level, and also maybe also on stage level, how your monitoring configuration should look like. Because right now, the Dynatrace service and also the Prometheus service, they work on a Keptn installation scope. And there is not that much flexibility to also customize it for projects or stages. But with your approach, that's pretty cool, because there is definitely the need that for certain projects you maybe want to do something different, and this gives you then the flexibility.
Yeah, it supports the same kind of methodology that you have for the Dynatrace service, where you can specify a dynatrace.conf.yaml file with all the tenants, or with the credentials that contains your tenant's token and environment URL. I support the same thing, right? So you can actually say, hey, I want to point it to this tenant or to that tenant, and you can do that on the like you said, on the project and on the stage level. Because in a lot of environments that we see at our customers, we notice that they have separated production and non-production tenants. So here we support that quite easily.
Cool. Christoph, I'm also inviting you already to one of our next user groups to maybe present this. I think it will be really helpful for the broader Keptn community, especially those that are also having Dynatrace in place, to see what this integration can do. So I think that's really useful.
Okay, sure.
That would be cool. Thanks.
No worries.
Are there any questions on like the first part of the announcements and also the new contributions?
Well, the first point, I think it's worth to get it mentioned. It's the problem that currently the code base of Keptn on the master branch cannot be built because the TravisCI does not allow us to do this because we consume too much credits in the last month. And if you're wondering why you don't get the latest images when you do a pull of latest, that's the reason Travis is currently not working for us. But we are, of course, looking for a solution to get it done. All right, that was it from my end.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Johannes. Okay, so with this, I'm handing over to Ermin and we will go through the list of noteworthy issues and PRs. So please, Ermin, take it away.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm going to present a pull request today from an environment I'm usually not used to. It's some Go code in the CLI, a new already existing feature that was now re-added. It's the version check in the root command. And yeah, let's have a look at the issue here. The problem was that if the CLI did not require a connection to the cluster, and there was not the connection could not be established. For example, even if you executed Keptn --help, so just the help command, it was stuck there, and therefore this version check was yeah, removed, and yeah, now we have improved this one and also added some new functionality. So the new implementation now only executes for commands, or let's say if you execute the help command, it's not executed only if you yeah, run other Keptn commands. And it is now also limited with it caches the results for 24 hours and will only do the check once a day. And there is also a timeout configured now. So I think after 2 or 3 minutes, it will time out. And one more feature added here is that there is now a comparison between CLI and cluster version. So if they mismatch, you get a warning that your CLI version and the cluster version do not match, and that this can lead to problems, and to make sure to use the same versions here. Yeah, that's all from my side. Are there any questions?
Are we ready to close this issue or to approve it?
Yeah, I'm waiting for approval here. Since there was some discussion here, because first I just checked for the help inside the command, but this could also trigger for service helper. So now I changed this and actually just waiting for a review here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all from my side. Then I'm handing over to Florian.
I mean, before you jump back, you have 2 bug fixes. You have worked on 2 bug fixes. Do you want to say a word?
Yeah, we can mention those 2 also. So I fixed the problem in the bridge. So we added this feature in 0.7.1 that if there is a new Keptn version, we notify the user also in Keptn Bridge about this new version. And this was not migrated to the master branch correctly. So in the latest release 0.7.3, this is a known issue, and this was now fixed for our current master. So for the latest version of the bridge. Now we are showing this information again as a notification on top of the bridge. So when there is a new version available. And we had one more issue here in the bridge, since the bridge is loading only 20 root events on load. So when you initially load the bridge, and if those 20 root events in a service are, for example, all 20 problem events, the last configuration change and actually the last deployment finished event was lost. And the bridge was previously fetching those events and checking for this deployment finished event to provide the information which service is deployed on a stage. And now the bridge is using the get services endpoint, and also polling for the services every 30 seconds. And here we have the deployed image, which is stored in the MongoDB data store. And yeah, we now use this information to display the currently deployed image of a service in the environment screen. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's from my side. And next is Florian.
All right, thanks. Okay, in this meeting, I want to show you one pull request. This is about, again, updating all the Keptn contrib services in order to use the new Cloud Events 1.0 that we're going to be using in Keptn 08. And this time I've updated the Argo service. So basically, the procedure was similar to all the other Keptn contrib services. So mainly what needed to be done was to update to the latest version of the Go utils and then use the helper functions provided within that library that basically uses Cloud Events 1.0. And also in addition to that, I upgraded the used Go version for this service. As you can see here in the Travis YAML and in the Docker file. So now we're also up to date in that area. And yeah, basically here what I did is upgraded all the dependencies to the Go utils. And also what I've done in addition is, since we are using the started and triggered and finished events in order to control workflows within Keptn 08, I also added the functionality of sending started and finished events from this service. So hopefully this is now ready to be used within Keptn 08 and take over release actions, for example, with Argo. All right, so that was the one pull request I wanted to show you. Now let's have a quick look at the working items, because there were also some bugs that were fixed. So the first one is here. So this was storing the credentials. Does not work with Linux and OpenShift combination. So basically in the recent weeks, we have gotten a contribution that supports using multiple contexts, so multiple Kubernetes contexts, and switching between those with the Keptn CLI. And in case one is using OpenShift, the name of the current context contains slashes in its name, and therefore when the CLI tried to create a file with the name of the current context, that name was, of course, interpreted as a directory, and therefore the CLI wasn't able to create that, because we didn't plan for that scenario, and that has been fixed with that pull request. So basically the helper function that returns the name of the context now replaces all the slashes, and now it's ensured that name doesn't represent a directory of any sort, but it's just a plain file. All right, and I think there was another one.
I think I already moved it to the column on the right. I'm sorry for that.
Yeah, no problem. That was the one I was looking for. So basically that one caused our Travis builds to stall. when installing Keptn on, for example, Minishift or Minikube or etc. any platform, because also due to the feature we've added of supporting the management of multiple contexts, when the Keptn auth command was executed for the first time, this was detected as a change of the current Kubernetes context, because initially it is empty. And due to that change, the CLI asked the user to confirm whether he or she wants to continue with that context. So it was waiting for confirmation by the user. And of course, we do not have that in the Travis pipelines. And here I've added the fix that if the context is empty, so the context the Keptn CLI is currently pointing to, then this change will now be accepted automatically. And also in case you do want to switch contexts, for example, during some sort of automation within a script, you can now use the -y flag in order to override or to automatically accept this switch of the context. So this -y flag has been added to the auth command. All right, and I think that's it from me for this week. I think all the other pull requests are under review, so hopefully they will be presented during the next developer meeting. All right, and now I will hand over to Johannes.
All right. Well, last week I could not join the meeting, and this week I was not actually working that much on issues and on backlog issues, more other Keptn related things. But still, what I have open is my PR that explains the requirements for the execution plane services. May I kindly ask someone to give me a review on that? Because what I'm explaining there, the requirements for writing a custom service, and with the changes that are coming with Keptn 0.8, we have also the support for allowing a Keptn service to run outside the control plane, meaning that he has to call the control plane for open tasks. And this is explained here in this pull request. We already did a jointly review on this pull request a couple meetings ago, but I still want to get it merged and need a final approval. Is someone up for doing that?
Yeah, I can have a look at that.
Thank you very much, Florian. Thanks a lot. All right, yeah, then the second issue I'm working on is the spec for the Keptn Cloud events, the new format. But this one is still work in progress, as I want to test it out with the latest master branch to check whether the implementation aligns with the specification. All right, yeah, this was it from my side. Then let's jump over to the working items. Let me quickly remove the filter. Yeah, we discussed almost already for reviews, except of that one from Bernd. Bernd, since you are on the call, do you want to tell us what you did with this issue?
Yes, I can say a couple of words about this. Maybe I'll share my screen.
Yep, let me stop.
Just one moment. Yep. So as Johannes already mentioned, we currently have some troubles using TravisCI, meaning that we are not able to actually build our stuff using Travis.
Sorry, Bernd, can you zoom in a bit? It's
yes,
quite
I can
small.
a bit. Whoop. Better?
Yeah, that's better. Thank you.
Good. So we thought it might be a good idea to slowly migrate some of our tasks, of our automation tasks from Travis to GitHub Actions. One step here was to think about can we actually run the unit tests for the whole Go code as well as the Node.js Angular code from the bridge on GitHub Actions, and this was done in the last week, and I can quickly show you what I've done. So the definition of done was here that the unit tests actually are removed from the TravisCI YAML file, so that they are not executed in a Travis context anymore, but yeah, at the GitHub Actions level. And of course, implementing the GitHub action and also putting in place some branch protection rules which are leveraging this GitHub Actions. If we just maybe go to let's just take a look at the main repository of Keptn. Here we see the Actions tab, and we have here all the GitHub action we currently have. And there's a new one called unit tests, and this one is triggered whenever a pull request was opened. Let's take, for example, a look here. This execution, and here we see it has basically two jobs. The first job is unit tests go, and the second job is unit tests node. I think we are also able to see the actual file, workflow file here. As you can see, the first job simply goes into every directory of all our Go projects and executes the unit tests in coverage mode, so that we also have test coverage for all of these. And the second one just executes the Node.js tests. One difference to the workflow it was before in Travis is that actually now we are even saving more minutes by executing those two jobs in parallel. So if you make a pull request, you will notice that the tests, the unit tests for Go and the unit tests for Node are running in parallel, saving already some, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes of build time, which is always good. And you can see here each of the project each of the Go project is here a separate step actually. So if one unit test of one project fails, you can easily see which one, which Go project or Go module has a problem. And if you open it here, you can take a look at the tests. Yeah, I think there's not much more to say about this topic. We will see what will be probably the next thing we will shift to GitHub Action. Not everything will probably shift to GitHub Action. Some things will remain in TravisCI, but there are definitely still some parts we will shift to GitHub Actions. Yep.
Cool, great. This gives us at least confidence that we are building code that does not break the tests. Awesome.
And while I'm already sharing, I have, I think, another, what is this? Updating. Yeah, there was a bug report that it was not possible using Keptn to update an already existing Git upstream. So there's the Keptn update command, and there you can pass the coordinates to a GitHub repository. And previously it was the case that if you, let's open this, if you have your project already configured to use a Git upstream, and you want to change it by issuing again the Keptn update command, then it was failing. And yeah, with this pull request, this is now fixed. It was not so much to do. Basically, you can now apply the Keptn update command multiple times with different Git upstreams, and it will just reconfigure the project, and you can, so to say, switch or migrate your project to another Git upstream.
Bernd, are you missing an approval there?
Yes, since we've changed to minimum 2 approvals, I'm missing one, and then we can merge this.
I can take care of reviewing the code for you.
Okay. Good. I think that was it from my side. Then we'll stop share.
Okay, then let's continue taking a look at the working items. Ready for review is done, in progress, and assigned and committed we will skip, and then we will jump over to those that are in the backlog for the next week. Let's just have a look at this issue. This is kind of the issue that keeps track of our migration process for the Keptn Contrib and Keptn Dynatrace and Keptn Sandbox services. And here we can see that the Dynatrace service has been successfully migrated to be 0.8 compliant. The Unleash service is done. The Prometheus service is done. And a couple of others are missing, but really, really great progress. Thanks a lot for this task. Great. All right, yeah, those that are still mentioned here in this issue and ready to be implemented are here. That one, it's about updating the service to use Cloud Events 1.0 for the notification service. This one is written in TypeScript. Yeah, when someone likes to write TypeScript code, then please feel free to work on that one. And I think all the others, they are currently in progress or already assigned, what is pretty cool. All right, then, yeah, let's jump to the issues that are in the backlog and are waiting for getting done and getting implemented. The first one is about documentation of the new shipyard version.
Are you on a different screen, Johannes? Or,
sorry,
because we see the backlog, but yeah.
Okay, but then I was not talking, sorry, I was not talking with the wrong screen, because what I did, what you could not see.
No, we see your code now. We see the Visual Studio code now.
Sorry, then I'm.
Yeah.
Now you can see it. Perfect.
That looks good.
What I did was I just went through this list and yeah, those that has been migrated, I marked as resolved. Okay, yeah, let's continue here on the other screen. Then let's go on. The first issue I want to discuss and want to bring up is about quality, about making Keptn 0.8 also able to execute the quality gates use case, since there are minor issues still not working and need to be addressed. First of all, the CLI will not work with an evaluation.finished event, but will work with an evaluation.finished event, but right now it's implemented in a way that's listening for an evaluation -done event. This needs to be changed, and we also need to mark this Keptn get event evaluation done as deprecated, as will not be the way of fetching events from Keptn with 0.8. And with this issue, we also need to update the integration tests as well as the doc section for all those references that are made to a Keptn get event command, because this has then be changed. Is someone up for working on this issue?
I can take this one.
All right, thanks a lot, Bernd. Okay, then the next one is about the remediation service, because right now the remediation service does not include the triggered ID into the payload of a remediation.triggered event, which is technically not needed, but in order to be aligned with the new spec, we want to have it in there. And what's now the task to do? It's basically just adding the triggered ID to the metadata of remediation.status changed, as well as remediation.finished, as we already introduced in this spec change. The code that need to be touched is in the remediation service, and this gentleman has to handle the events probably. Who wants to work on that one?
I will do that.
All right, thanks, Flo. Okay, then let's move on. Yeah, about this issue I started to talk about, but you could not see my screen. It's about updating the documentation for the new shipyard. As we have now changed a lot on the master branch and also implemented the new shipyard format, we need to reflect it on the documentation as well. And by getting started on that, the first task is to change all the shipyard files that are referenced and used in the documentation to the new format. Here I did a quick search on that, and I identified 2 spots where we need to update the shipyard. It's the continuous delivery multi-stage page, and then here under manage project, create a project, there obviously the shipyard is needed and needs to be updated. All right. And we also want to add a new page with this issue, a page that explains how to update the new shipyard. Because with Keptn 0.8, you have the flexibility to add an additional step, or we call it task, to a sequence. You can also remove it. And how this can be done should be explained by an additional page, as this will also be a key feature with the new release. Is someone up for writing documentation about the new shipyard? All right. Otherwise, I would leave it here in the backlog for now. Then the next one is also a documentation issue, which is more about the architecture of Keptn itself, because it also has changed in the way that a couple of components disappeared and the shipyard controller came alive. And right now, this architectural diagram shows how the architecture looks like in Keptn 0.7 with a couple of old components. And as I said, for example, the event broker service has gone, and instead of that, the shipyard service came alive. And this also needs to be changed here in this diagram. And next to updating the architecture, there also needs to be, or we want to provide information about the cluster size. I already started working on this issue. It's kind of almost done, meaning that it's more about reviewing this PR for the second task of this issue, and to give me feedback on that one. But still, for the architecture, I would like to ask someone to update this one.
Yeah, I can draw the architecture.
Cool, thank you very much. And I will also add myself, as I will take care of the second part, which is about the cluster size. Okay, then yeah, last but not least, but I think this is the last issue in regard to the documentation. This is kind of a double check, because with the upgrade of the cloud events from version 0.2 to 1.0, we also need to double check that the examples that we use in the docs are updated. I think and I hope that this is a find and replace task where you just look for a specification 0.2 and replace it by 0.1. This is the first task. And additionally, we also need to double check the links to the cloud event specification, as they also will change. But to be honest, I think for doing this, my pull request needs to be merged first, which is all about the specification of the cloud events. And I think let's keep it in the backlog, as working on that issue would not make sense right now, I think. Let's leave it where it is. All right, then we have two technical issues. The first one is about Docker Hub, because Christian realized that a couple of our images, old ones, they got staled by Docker Hub, meaning that Docker will then delete them in about 6 months, and this is not what we want. And to overcome this problem, we just need to pull them again. Well, that's the approach that we also want to go with this issue, meaning that we maybe once a week or every second week, we pull all those images that have a release tag on it. And maybe it would also be a good idea to check when the last pull happened. And let's assume it happened 4 weeks ago, then we pull it again. And when it already happened this week, then it's not worth to pull it. But we need to have some automation in place that does this job for us. Maybe a good candidate for another GitHub action, I think, because we don't want to go too much with Travis anymore. Someone up for working on this automation step in the next week?
I can take a look.
Yeah.
Okay, who of you wants?
Please go ahead.
Okay. I think I have a second one also that goes in this direction.
We all love GitHub Actions.
Cool. Because the last one is also related to Docker images that we produce but don't clean up on the Docker Hub side, because yeah, it happens due to development and due to the pull requests that we make, that we create a lot of dirty images. They are here labeled with -30. They end up at Docker Hub and create a lot of tags there. And what we also want to do, we kind of want to follow a clean repo, and we want to clean this up, meaning that there also need to be automation in place that takes a look or that checks out, are there images with a dirty tag on it or with just a git hash and not a release tag. Then we just remove this tag from the repository. And this should also be done via cron job that runs every week, every second week, and cleans up all the images that are not worth to get stored over a longer period of time. Okay. Yeah, this week we have a couple of automation tasks. Due to the problem we are currently facing with Docker Hub on the one hand and TravisCI on the other hand. Someone up for working on that one?
Yeah, I can take that one.
All right, thanks, Flo. Okay. Then, I'm here at the bottom of this column. No more issues for this week. But still, if you find some time or a good first issue that you want to work on, feel free to just leave a comment there on the issue, and we are happy to assign it to you, and we will then give you more information in case you need more information to work on it. This was it from my side. Back to Jürgen. Do we have additional announcements for this week?
I don't think so. I think we're good. I just want to maybe let you know that we are still working on updating our Keptn.sh front page. So if you have any feedback and how you want to have it look like, which information it should include, please also reach out to us. I think the link was shared already in the doc. I can again paste it into the documentation. Maybe I put it in the first section here. Sketch of the new Keptn front page. And I will put the link in here. If you have any ideas, any feedback on this, we're happy to receive this. But I think that's it for today. Thanks everyone for joining. Have a great week.
See you next week.
See you.
Bye.
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 Bye.